Hi, Ben Johnson here to record last week's High Tech Friday. Last week we took a look at a cool new website called GoFormative.com. It's a little bit like Google Docs on steroids. It's one of my favorite new tools. The reason it's so cool is that you can take a worksheet like this one, make it totally interactive, see what your students are doing real time, give them real-time feedback as they go. So let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and open up Chrome, make a new tab, go to GoFormative.com. The first time you use it, you're going to need to sign up. I've already done that, so I'll just go ahead and log in. If your district's a GAF district, you can log in with your Google account. Students can log in the same way so that you don't need to create any additional accounts. First thing you're going to want to do is go to your dashboard, and you can make a folder for each prep that you teach. And then after you've done that, go ahead and go into the folder for that prep, and you can add new assignments. I'm going to add a new assignment here. And I'm just going to go ahead and call it Geometry number 2. Okay, now before you begin adding questions, you might want to go out and collect your worksheets, whether they're Word docs, PDFs, Google Docs, or in this case even a hand-drawn worksheet. This is just found on a Google image search. You might want to go ahead and print those things as a PDF, so I can just go ahead and hit print, change that to a PDF, and then go ahead and hit save. Okay, in addition to that, I might also want to save it as a JPEG, so I'll just right click, save image as, put it in that triangle folder, and just call it triangle JPEG. Okay, so you want to collect all of the materials you want to use and get those saved. You can add plain old questions, content, or the reason that I like to use GoFormative is this upload and transform feature, so I'll go ahead and click on that. And then I'll hit this button to upload that PDF. Okay, now the caveat with things that you upload is that they can be no longer than 5 pages long. So if you have something longer than that, then you'll need to go ahead and split that into multiple portions. In this case, I'm going to pretend like I have a sub this day that doesn't know geometry, and this will just be an interactive assignment for my students that I can actually keep track of while I'm away, sick, or at a conference maybe. So I'll just give my students some instructions here. Complete this interactive worksheet. Okay. What makes GoFormative so cool is after you've uploaded your PDF or your Word doc, you'll see that your cursor turns into this plus sign, and I can actually add movies to these problems. So I'll just click my plus sign here and actually add content, and I'll do YouTube. And I'll go ahead and search, and I'll do triangle by sides. Let's see what I come up here. Okay, classifying triangles by sides and angles, so I'll just go ahead and actually I might select this second one here, and then I'll hit done. So my sub may not know anything about triangles, but the students can just go here and click on that video and learn about that. Now, after they watch the video, I want them to answer what type of triangle each of these are. So I'll just click my plus sign again, and I'll add a question, and I'll do a multiple choice here. And I'll say, what type of triangle is this? And then down here I'll type in the different types, and hopefully I can remember how to spell these. Okay, and then I'll throw this third one in the trash, and then let's see, I'm not sure if this is I think this is a isosceles, but don't hold me to it, not a geometry teacher. I could also give some help text here, which would be helpful to give that feedback of an isosceles triangle has two sides of equal length. Alright, and then I'll just go ahead and hit done. Then I could ask another question about this triangle. Again, add question, multiple choice, and And then again, I'll just type the choices. Now, if these answers had already been spelled out on the worksheet, I wouldn't even need to type anything here. I could just leave them as choice A, B, C, D, which probably many of your worksheets and tests already include. Okay, and then I'll trash that last one. And again, don't hold me to it. Maybe this is a scalene. And I could include that help text. Now when I get to this next question, for the sake of time, I'm not going to add questions to all of these, but this one is by its angle. So again, I might click on this and add content, YouTube, and I'll do triangles by angles and see if I can find that video. And I'll just go ahead and use this one. Not sure if it's the same one that I used the last time or not, and then I'll hit done. Okay, so my students can watch that video, and then they can go ahead and answer the questions here. So I'll just add a question. And I could also do show your work, short answer, true, false, and so it will grade multiple choice, short answer, and true, false. Won't grade show your work. A teacher would have to manually grade that. So again, I could just put what type of triangle is this? Okay, and then again, if the worksheet actually had spelled these choices out, I could just go ahead and include those, but it does not, so I'll just quickly type these in. And again, I'm not sure, but I believe it's a cute, and I'll throw that in the trash. Could provide the help text, which would be nice if you have time. And so I could continue to do that. Now, in addition to those sorts of questions, I could go ahead and add a drawing type question. So find the missing angle. So in this case, I'll just go ahead and hit that, and I'll add a question. And maybe this one I'll do show your work. And I'll just maybe tell my students to draw some congruent triangles. Now, if I needed to include a background, maybe coordinates or something like that, I could go ahead and add a background to this question for them to draw on top of. And so this isn't a good example, but I'll go ahead and add that background, that JPEG that I saved. It's the same image as the worksheet. And so in this example, students would just go ahead and use their pencil, and I know this isn't a good example, but they would just go ahead and draw some congruent triangles, and they could use these different colors and so on. Alright, so I think I'm done with that one. So I would just continue to add all my questions, and I'll just see if there's anything else that I should show. On the add questions, I think I covered quite a few of these. Multiple choice, show your work. Short answers, just fill in the blank, true, false. You all know about those, and the show your work is what I just added. One thing that I will point out to you quickly is if I add content, one of the things I can do is add a text block. And the reason I want to show you that briefly is that if you had a third-party tool like a Quizlet or something you wanted to embed into this worksheet, I could do that through this text block using this HTML editor. I could just take my HTML embed code from the Quizlet or the third-party tool and simply paste that into this box, and that would allow me to embed a Quizlet directly on this worksheet, making it truly interactive. Alright, once you've built that and you're ready to give it to your students, you're just going to go ahead and hit this Assign button. And you have a choice of everyone. In that case, you can just write this address on your whiteboard and then this code. But a better way to deploy this is only to classes. And you'll want to add a class for each period that you teach. The reason that this is better is that you can give your students live feedback, and they'll be able to go back and review their score and how they did. If you do everyone, they won't have that functionality, and you won't be able to provide the live feedback. So I would choose only classes, add a class for each period that you teach, and then you would give the students that same code. Now you can deploy this in your Google Classroom, which is a really nice feature. So I'll just go ahead and show you how that works, and you're just going to then choose the class, whether you want it to be an assignment or an announcement, and then you'll just hit go and it will go ahead and post that, and you can assign that to your students. So a nice new feature. Just want to show you for a bit what this will look like to your students. So I'm going to grab that code and copy it, and then I'm just going to open a new incognito window and see if I can so I'm going to go to goformative.com/join and paste that code in so that you can see what the teacher sees here. Okay, now as a student, I'm just going to go ahead and log in with my Google account. And since I went in as an incognito, it doesn't have my cookie saved here. So let's see if I can quickly get logged in. And it will pick up my name from my Google account. And so now as a teacher, I can go to live results. So the teacher screen is here on the left. And the student is over here. So as the teacher, I can go problem by problem and see how my students are doing. So what did I decide this was an isosceles? And well, evidently I misguessed that one. So all right, got the second one correct. So as a teacher, I'm going to see the live feedback, and if I had more than one student in here, I would see all of the student screens real time. And where that comes in really handy is on these drawing-based questions. So here I asked the student to draw a congruent triangle. So I'll just go ahead and turn my ink to and I'm not certain that I'm doing this correctly, so forgive me for that. But as the teacher, I can go ahead and then click and zoom in on that student's answer. I can go ahead and give them a score real time. And in addition, I should be able to give them some live feedback. But I may have deployed this since I went back and just grab that quick code for it. I've deployed this in such a way that the student, I can't give the student the feedback, but if you deploy it for only the class, in addition to giving the student the score here, you'll be able to actually type live feedback that the student will see on his or her screen immediately, which is pretty slick. Okay, so that's a real quick overview of GoFormative. As I said, probably the coolest new tool that I've seen in quite some time. I love the ability that it has to make an old-fashioned paper worksheet interactive, so you have the benefit of saving the paper, the ink, the time, plus it grades it automatically. And I haven't met a teacher yet that says they enjoy going home and grading. So give it a try. I think you'll really like it. Thanks for watching this week's SciTech Friday.